Hi, my name is Andy from Amplifiers Sound, and I'm so excited that you could be able to join us on our first episode of learning about live sound. Today we are going to learn about how to match amplifiers to speakers. This is a topic that I love so much, and it is because so many people are not able to match their speakers to their amplifiers or amplifiers to their speakers while buying. This is a process that starts before you buy your own equipment, and I feel it is very good to start with it as episode 1. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure you will have a good time. Write to us on our section below, comment, and tell us how it will benefit you. And also remember to subscribe, and God will bless you. So when we're matching amps to speakers, the first thing that we should look at is watts. What are the watts of your amplifiers and your speakers? Watts is power, and what this means is more watts, more power. So if your amplifier has more watts, it means it has more power, and hence it needs a speaker that has more power also. There are a few rules of thumbs that we are going to go through that you should be able to observe for you to be able to match your amplifier to speakers. So the next thing we are going to look at is ohms. These are the two things that you should look at for you to be able to match your amplifier to speakers. So what are ohms? Ohms is resistance to electricity. And everything has ohms, including you and I. We all have ohms. And it is very important for you to be able to understand ohms for you to be able to match your amplifiers to your speakers. For example, if you have an amplifier that has 4 ohms, it means that you should not go way below 4 ohms or way above 4 ohms. And you will find out that most speakers or most amplifiers, they are written the ohms that they can be able to accommodate for speakers. For example, you will find most speakers written 4 ohms, others 8 ohms, others 16 ohms. So what does this tell you? It tells you your ohms should not be below 4 ohms and it should not be above 16 ohms. That is how you should be able to understand or to be able to match your speakers using these ohms. They are usually written behind the speaker, behind the amplifier. You should be able to check your amplifier for you to know the ohms that you're supposed to buy in your speaker. So we are going to give examples of the same. And before we go to the examples, we are going to set the rules of thumbs that you should always observe while you're buying the same equipment. So rule number 1, your amplifiers should be 50% above the watts of your speakers. So what does this mean? If you have a speaker that is 400 watts, you should be able to buy an amplifier that is 800 watts. If you have a speaker that is 600 watts, your amplifier should be 1200 watts. So why is it 50% above your speaker watts? It is because it should be able to carry a speaker for long, and that's hence it should be above the speaker by 50%. For example, if I give you an analogy, you can be able to carry a load for some distance. But when you walk a longer distance, you will not be able to carry it thereafter. So that is why the amplifier should be way above so that it can be able to carry your speakers even for 24 hours or 24/7. So something else that you should observe, the one that we've talked about ohms, is that you should be able to check the ohms that you've been advised by the manufacturer of the amplifier on the speaker that you should buy. Every original amplifier is written behind it, the ohms that every speaker that it can carry, the speakers that it can carry. So the second rule of thumb is that you should be able to match your speaker to the ohms written behind the amplifier. So for example, we have amplifiers that are written 4 ohms, 8 and 16 ohms. What does this mean? It means that it should be able to accommodate a speaker that has 4 ohms, a speaker that has 8 ohms, and a speaker that has 16 ohms. So anything above that will blow your amplifier. Anything below that will blow your amplifier. So these are the things that you should be able to check if you're buying a speaker or an amplifier. For example, if you have a speaker that is written 350 watts at 8 ohms, and you're advised to go and buy an amplifier for the same, how are you going to go about it? We check at the rules. Number 1, we have 350 watts in our speakers. So it should be, our amplifier should be 50% more than this, meaning it should be 700 watts. And then our speaker is 8 ohms, meaning it is within the range of most amplifiers, which is 4, 8, and 16. So if you buy an amplifier that is 700 watts, or 4, 8, or 16 ohms, then you're good to go. You will find most people will buy amplifiers because it is more powerful. E.g., you have a speaker that is 350 watts and 8 ohms. Most people will tell you, I have an amplifier that is 4000 watts, and this is the most powerful speaker that you should buy, amplifier that you should buy for this speaker. So with this knowledge, you will not accept this kind of amplifier because it will blow your speaker right away. And then there are things that you should look at. In a speaker, we have different kind of watts. We have RMS. RMS is the root mean square. This is the wattage that you should always check when buying a speaker. It means that this speaker can run for long with the same watts. So this one will be 350 watts. And then in the same, we have the wattage that is written peak. What does this mean? Peak means, mostly you'll find it's at 800 watts. Peak means that this speaker cannot run for long with this wattage. So this is not advisable. And if I go to buy a speaker and I find out that they've only written peak watts, I will not buy that speaker. That speaker is not original and it's not something that you should buy. So you should always check at RMS and then you compare the RMS to the amplifier. So I hope you can now be able to match your amplifier to your speakers. And thank you so much for joining us. Join us also for the next topic or the next episode where we are going to talk about series connection, parallel connection, and series to parallel connection. Thank you so much and God bless you.